You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
An exciting night for the Braves at Truist Park as they answer the Phillies in a number of different ways, including a big home run in the top of the ninth that made it feel like maybe the Braves were going to be down 2 games in this series. But instead, Atlanta was able to find its answer not only for that home run and grab a win tonight, but a win that answered the loss in the opener of this series. So now it is all tied up at a game apiece with 2 more to go between these NL East foes as the Braves and Phillies are battling for the first time in 2022. Jake, it feels weird to say that this is the first time we're seeing this club, but hey, that is what it is in a very strange season. So we got a lot to talk about here on the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. I'm Grant McAuley. He is Jake Mastroianni, and we're going to jump into it momentarily. First, though, I want to make sure that you know to subscribe here to the YouTube channel for Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit that bell so you get all the notifications for us every time we drop a new episode, and make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcast. Now, let me take all of that and put it over to the side and say this was a night that was a little bit of a roller coaster, but I guess you can file it under all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah, you got to, and it's a game they had to win. They almost lost it, but they found a way to get the job done. And in the end, that's all that matters. Look, it may not have been pretty, but they won the game. And winning games, however you can get them right now, are very key for these Atlanta Braves.
Yes, the wins have been a little bit harder to come by than we expected here in 2022. And the other thing about wins, among many things, is that it cures a lot of ills when you are winning ball games. And I think we've seen over the past couple of nights, obviously some disappointment in the opener against Philadelphia, and that clearly kind of was part and parcel to what the Braves have been dealing with a lot here this season. But they have shuffled this lineup, Jake. They have changed some things around, and we saw, I think, for the second consecutive day, maybe some clues are being dropped that this Braves offense does in fact know how to hit, and they are going to figure it out and crack the code.
Yeah, and double-digit hits in back-to-back games for the first time in over a month. So that is certainly an encouraging sign. Not exactly getting the extra base hits, not getting the home runs, but still stringing hit together, being able to score runs. That's something we've been looking for with this Braves team. They're able to do that in this game. So I definitely think the reshuffling of the lineup has sparked some of these guys and got them to put the ball in play a little bit more and rack up some hits and get some guys going. So look, it was time for something to happen.
Yeah.
And credit to Snitker and the Braves staff putting that together, and William Contreras, contributing to that with the walk-off on Tuesday as well, batting in that 2 spot. Wasn't a great game for him before that, but came up in a key spot there and got a big hit. So yeah, you got to give a lot of credit there to Snitker and the Braves for shaking things up, and it seems to be paying off so far.
Yeah, you want to stick with your guys as long as you can because I felt like, and I've said this, whether it's on 92.9 The Game, whether it's here, whether it's on Battery Power, whether it's on anywhere else I've shown up over the past, 3-4 weeks at least, the answers are in the lineup. Maybe the order is what needs to change, but there are guys here that we know the names. We got to start seeing the production beside those names that makes you feel like you can get going and maybe get on a run here. And perhaps this is the kind of win that'll get the Braves there. Let's go through the line score for game number 43 for the Braves. Game number 2 of 4 in this series against the Phillies, who are now 20-23, as are the Braves. 5 runs, 10 hits, an error, 9 men left on base for Philadelphia. 6 runs, 14 hits for the Braves, no errors, 8 men left on base. Kenley Jansen, the winner, now 3-0, and Nick Nelson takes the loss, giving up the walk-off to Atlanta and to William Contreras, the first of Williams' young career, hopefully the first of many for the Braves catcher who has kind of turned himself into an indispensable bat for a club that's looking for a lot of answers. And I think that is one of the more exciting developments that we've seen in 2022 is that this kid may have quite a future. We'll see what he's able to do with it. But at present, was the right man at the right time and the right spot for the Braves to win a game. It lasted 3 hours and 58 minutes, crowd of 32,274 were on hand to see it. And Jake, a lot of things I liked in this game. Let's start with Max Fried. I thought he looked really good in this one. And there was nothing more of a reminder, I guess, of what kind of pitcher Max Fried is than the final out that he got in this game. Bases loaded, JT Realmuto on the plate. Brian Snitker comes out and makes the visit to the mound. You think, well, here comes the hook. They're going to have to bring in a righty-righty matchup here. And he stuck with Max Fried. And this was what I like to call maximum Fried to punch out Realmuto.
Yeah, great game. He was really rolling there for a while. I thought it might be an opportunity for him to go a lot further in the game, but Phillies did a great job in that sixth inning, kind of getting to him and working him. But yeah, a great moment there from Snickers. Second time we've seen him do that this year. Did it with Kyle Wright earlier in the year,
Mhm.
a big confidence boost for him. Not that Max necessarily needs a confidence boost or anything, but sticking with your ace right there and letting him get out of that. And hindsight being what it was now, I'm glad that it was Fried that stuck that out, because the bullpen gave up just as many hits, more runs, and the same amount of walks in just 3 innings that Max gave up in 6 innings. So I was glad to see Max finish that off. That's the guy I want out there in that situation. To
Yep.
me, he's the best pitcher on this Braves team entirely, bullpen and starting. So that's who I want out there, even though I know he was kind of struggling right there, some long at bats before that. So glad to see
Mhm.
Max get through that outing and get an opportunity to win the game, although they blew that late. But
Yep.
still a very good performance from Max Fried.
But winning on the days that Max Fried pitches, Jake, I think we can all agree that's something the Braves need to do. That's something they were able to do on this day. We'll get back to going through some of the other big stories, including some of the key performances out of the lineup for the Braves. And there were a lot of them in this game. Before we do, though, I want to let you know this episode of Locked On Braves, the postcast, is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Visit athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now, as far as the Braves are concerned, they were working throughout this game to A, build up a lead for Max Fried, and then B, I think to find insurance runs in this one. Some guys were left out on the base paths. We've seen that happen again. The Braves stranded 8 men on base, but they were able to find the big rally in the home half of the ninth inning. But looking up and down this lineup, it's very different, Jake, than we saw over the first 5 or so weeks of the season. Matt Olson is now the fifth place hitter for the Braves. Austin Riley's been dropped lower in the lineup. Marcell Ozuna, who's riding now an 11-game hit streak, has been elevated in the lineup, and Travis d'Arnaud is batting cleanup among the many changes that we've seen in this Braves order. And William Contreras, the number 2 hitter of this club, maybe the most unlikely 2 hitter that I could think of. If you were polling me in spring training, who's going to be batting second as the Braves try to get on a roll, who's going to be the number 2 hitter behind Ronald Acuna Jr., you could have given me 14 guesses before I got to William Contreras.
Yeah, I probably would have guessed Max Fried before I guessed William Contreras, but
One of them's got a silver slugger.
exactly. And yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the shuffling of the lineup definitely helped. And it's the bottom of the order still
Yep.
that's getting this team going. The 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters got on base 11 times
Yep.
tonight, 9 hits and 2 walks, setting up Acuna, who had 3 RBI in this game, 2 sac flies. So, it's those guys getting it done. Dansby, who's been hitting really well for
Mm-hmm.
several weeks now, honestly, putting together some good at bats. Ozzy's quietly, had a good little streak going. I think he has a 7-game hit streak going as well. He had 3 hits and a walk tonight. So, the bottom of the lineup getting it done. I know Matt Olson had the big home run.
Mm-hmm.
Riley, who is now part of that bottom of the order, he's
We
looked
did.
good the past couple of games there. So, yeah, I don't know if it's a mindset thing. Maybe they were to relax a little bit more down in the order, whatever it may be. It seems to be working out so far with this Braves team, getting those hits in the bottom of the order in particular, getting on base, setting up Acuna at the top of the order, and Ozuna, who you said has been
Yep.
on a tear lately. So, yeah, I mean, it looks good. You'd like to see them score some more runs. They had a couple of opportunities in this game, I thought, to blow it open, and just weren't able to do that. Weren't able to come up with that big hit, but still, got enough to get the job done.
Yeah, they certainly did, and that's really what you'll take at the bare minimum is enough runs to win a baseball game. The Braves lineup, the new look Braves lineup, was able to get that done on the strength of that very exciting ninth inning comeback. But you brought up a lot of good points there, including what the bottom of the order was doing for the Braves. We saw Austin Riley have a multi-hit game. We saw Ozzy Albies and Dansby Swanson each with 3 hits apiece. Albies scored a couple of runs. And also Dansby with that 3-for-4 ninth that doubled to spark the rally in the bottom of the ninth inning, scored the game tying run. Also knocked in a run himself to get the scoring started on the day. A lot of good things were happening at the bottom there. And then, of course, you love seeing Ronald Acuna Jr. in the middle of stuff, and that's exactly where he was on this night as he picked up 2 hits and 3 trips, had 3 runs knocked in, and he was gifted second base as the potential winning run because his sac fly that scored Swanson in the ninth inning was dropped by Roman Quinn. and Nick Castellanos over in right field. It was reminiscent, although those two guys were much closer than Adam Duvall and Ronald Acuna were in the opener of the series, when it kind of gave the Phillies some extra breathing room as they built up a big lead in the opener of this series. So a lot of, I guess, echoing and weird rhyming, if you will, between these two games, parallels, I guess we could call it. But the one thing that really I think had Braves fans on edge, and certainly the Braves, after building that 4-3 lead and handing it to Kenley Jansen, he was able to get the first down in the ninth inning. And then you walk Alec Baum in what, 4 pitches, and then a bomb from Bryce Harper follows off of the facing of the facade of the chop house. That ball was well struck, and it just felt like it might be one of those nights again for the Braves.
It did, and you just kind of knew it. And yeah, like you said, a 4-pitch walk there to Alec Bohm, and you just knew it when Bryce Harper came up there. He jumped on that first pitch, a very bad miss in location for Kenley Jansen. Travis wanted it away. It came in, and Harper did not miss it.
No.
But for me, it's the walks. It's what I've been talking about. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's the walks that are frustrating me to no end. And again, 2 nights in a row, a walk to Roman Quinn, the number 9 hitter, leads to a key run. That just, I get it. Those are major league hitters. These are also major league pitchers that should be able to throw quality strikes when they need to. And just to even go deep in a count where a walk is a possibility against Roman Quinn, I'm sorry, it's just unacceptable for me. And Will Smith did that, set up that run to make it a 4-3 game, leading to what happened in that 9th inning. So for me, it's been kind of the same thing all year. The Braves, have the 5th most walks, or I think 4th most walks in all of baseball. It's been a problem all year long.
It has been a problem, and I know that Will Smith and some other Braves pitchers, you just like to see them maybe go after them a little bit more with a sense of aggressiveness and urgency when you are facing the bottom of the lineup, because all it does is invite trouble, and that's exactly what happened in that inning. And unfortunately for Kenley Jansen, that's what happened to him in the 9th inning. A 4-pitch walk to Bohm. It just opened the door for the Phillies not only to tie the game up with one of the game's best hitters up there, but also take a lead. And I would guess in his lifetime, between regular games, batting practice, and whatever else, that Bryce Harper has hit a lot of home runs on fastballs located in the lower and inner third right there, because he dropped the head on that and just destroyed that baseball. And it felt like it was going to pull the chance of the Braves win right out of their clutches. And the Philadelphia Phillies, who are likewise looking for a spark the way the Braves are, this would have been kind of I think, a signature win for them on the season, as they would have taken another step toward 500. And they would have dealt the Atlanta Braves another blow in what has felt like a lot of letdown and disappointing, especially lately, losses that have kept this club from gaining any kind of momentum whatsoever. And that certainly would have been a silver lining for the Philadelphia Phillies to do that to the Braves and win. It would be just a 2-for-1 if you're into those sorts of things. So a lot of good stuff on this night for the Braves. We got a lot of things to talk about to set you up for game 3 of this series. Before we do, though, I want to let you know our partners at Bet Online continue to be the number 1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find the latest odds, news, sports developments, including this year's NBA playoffs, MLB scores, fights, and even next year's NFL futures. Bet Online is your source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to betonline.net today. Bet Online, where the game starts. Game will be starting at 7:20 Eastern Time at Truist Park on Wednesday night. It's going to be Charlie Morton on the mound for the Braves. It'll be Ranger Suarez taking the ball for the Philadelphia Phillies. Morton's 3-3 on the year, a 4.95 ERA, though, Jake, he's been trending in the right direction. And Ranger Suarez 4-2 with a 4.12 ERA on the season. These are the kind of things that you need if you're talking about, winning on days that Max Fried pitches. If you got Charlie Morton out there, I would imagine that Atlanta, the part of the plan for 2022 was win as many of his starts as well, because you're kind of counting on him to help put you in a place to do that.
Yeah, you are. And we're starting to get back to seeing that Charlie Morton who can go out there and help you get on a winning streak, which is what the Braves need to get on and have an opportunity to do on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Again, hopefully 6 innings, solid outing there for Charlie Morton. But again, I'm excited about this offense and seeing how they continue to progress. Again, you're looking at 25 hits in the first 2 games of this series. Can that continue? Can they start to get some more extra base hits and pile up the runs? And can they have that crooked number inning that we've been looking for that they just haven't been able to get to break a game open. I've been looking for one for over a week now, and we haven't gotten him. But we're starting to see encouraging signs from this offense. You got Ranger Suarez, who only went 3 innings his last time out against the Dodgers. So hopefully they can take advantage of that, jump on him early, give Charlie Morton a lead, and kind of cruise to a win on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully so. I mean, Charlie has been trending in the right direction his last few starts, and if he can continue that, it will put the Braves in a good position to win a baseball game. But you bring up an interesting point about all of the hits that this offense has had, and I thought it was worth noting if you're watching the Braves broadcast on Valley Sports that, we saw the early work that Matt Olson was out there doing. All these Braves hitters, I've been asked a lot about this, particularly on Twitter. What are they doing here? What's Kevin Seitzer doing? What's anybody doing? Because things aren't working right now. The work is happening before the game. It's happening in batting practice. They're trying to bring those changes into the game. I've noticed, I think, some differences in some of the of the stances that we've seen. Some mechanical adjustments, particularly Adam Duvall and Travis d'Arnaud. I noticed tonight, and I do think the guys are trying to work their way through it. Sometimes it's a subtle change. Sometimes it's a confidence thing. Sometimes it's just a hey. Once I start feeling myself at the plate a little bit, getting some good results, it just starts to turn things around. But I do feel like the Braves have a group here, and I would be interested to get your thoughts on this as well. That, I mean, the talent's there. It's just the production that hasn't been there. But you have to believe if they continue to be who they are, or find a way to get back to what they've done in the past, this is a club that's going to score runs.
Yeah, and you're getting asked a lot of the same questions. I know I am as well. Let's replace these guys. Let's send somebody up. And my question back to that is who? Like, who are these? Are your guys? Like,
Yeah.
these are the guys that are going to either get it done or they're not going to. And history tells us at some point these players are going to turn things around. And I think you're right. Even though maybe the results haven't been there over the last week or so, I've seen Adam Duvall try to change his approach a little bit at the plate. And you've seen it in other hitters as well. It's hard for major league hitters to make adjustments in season like this. That's stuff they'll tell you they normally do in the offseason. It takes a lot of practice and repetition in order to make mechanical adjustments like that. It's not something that's usually going to happen at the flip of a switch, but they are, they're working on it. They're trying to make changes. They're shaking up the lineup, trying to do that as well to help that get going. So yeah, I mean, I see it there, but you're right. I mean, these are the guys, and I believe in these guys, and I think they'll get it going. Again, the back of their baseball cards tell us that they will at some point.
And Brian Snitker is a big back of the baseball card guy. I think that's why you saw him try to ride out as long as you can some of these guys to kind of hit their ways through a slump. And when you got this many guys slumping, though, I think at some point just something had to be done. You had to move some pieces around because you're not going to send them all out. You're not going to trade them. You're not going to release them. And you're not going to be able to call up a number of minor league prospects that are going to be able to outperform some of the guys that you have here that simply need to just live up to their own expectations and the level of production that they've shown in the past. So we'll see if they're able to do that. The Braves lineup has been on quite a roll the first couple of games in terms of piling up hits. Can they find that breakthrough inning that Jake was talking about? Charlie Morton would love to see it. He's on the mound on Wednesday in Game 3 of this series. He'll take on Ranger Suarez of the Phillies. Again, 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time is the first pitch at Truist Park. That'll bring us to the close of this episode of the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves as well, wherever you get your podcast. Good night at the ballpark for the Braves as they walk off despite the best efforts of Bryce Harper and the Phillies. A 6-5 win in the books for the Atlanta Braves, who even up the series at a game apiece. He's Jake Mastroianni. I'm Grant McAuley. We look forward to catching you next time on the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. So long, everyone.